So, inshallah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today, by the help of Allah, I will try to establish the link, some further links between Trump and Cyrus that the world is trying to create, or the Sanhedrins are trying to create, which I'll talk about in a second what they are. Is Trump or Cyrus? Cyrus was the just king mentioned in Quran Surah Qarnain. Now, if you're not sure about this, please watch my other videos, but I assure you that this is where all the latest research is pointing to, and it is kind of like an obvious fact at this point. Listen to my talk called Ya'juj and Ma'juj DNA, okay, where it basically talks about how white people that accepted Judaism that are now in Israel and in other parts of the world, they are not Bani Israel. They're not the original genetic Jews. These are white Europeans who've kind of like taken over and created a new religion out of Judaism called Zionism, and they're now trying to control the world. And in that, one of the things that's happened. Let me actually start from here. Just my talk very here is that if the wall was about the immigration issue, missing from Trump's wall war, what immigration hawks really want, the point here is that the wall will not necessarily help the issue of immigration. So why is he building this wall? And I'm not saying something definite. You know, I will tell you when I mean definite, I will say I'm definite about this. But I'm using this as a study case for us to understand that why certain things happen in the world. Democrats to vote against Trump's border wall, we know that. House passes resolution to overturn Trump's declaration on border wall, we know that. Right? Money for the wall, Pentagon has said that maybe we have enough money to build the wall. $5 billion that he's asking for is not a big deal. It's just political drama. $5 billion is like peanuts in the long scheme of things. House passes resolution to stop Trump's emergency declaration. So now, why is he building this wall? Well, one possibility, and a very likelihood, and you know, I don't say 100% for anything unless I'm sure 100%. But when the dots connect, they connect, and I then want to bring it up. You know, Trump was the one who, declared Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And this is the one thing, after thousands of years, that the second person has done this according to the Jewish view. The first person that did this was Cyrus the Great, who is also called Qarnain in the Quran. He let the Prophet Daniel والسلام, and the Jewish people go from Babylonia when they were under captivity, from Babylonia back to Jerusalem. Now, so he is now trying to be the next Cyrus. He's trying to be the next Cyrus the Great. People don't realize this. Trump is trying to be the next Cyrus the Great, and people are encouraging him to be the next Cyrus the Great. And in fact, the Jewish people and the Jewish rabbis and the Sanhedrin have tried to do this with other presidents, which I'll show you in a second. Just stick with me and things will become more clear. Let's start by the Quran itself, because there will be barakah if we start with Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. Follow that what has been recited by the shayateen about the mulk and the kingdom of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam. وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. So Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam was a prophet king who had control of the jinns and control of the jinns that did magic and taught magic. Okay. وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ. Sulaiman didn't do kufr. وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا. But the shayateen, they did kufr. وَلِأَجْلِ ذَلِكَ. And for that purpose, يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. And for this reason, they taught people magic. And what is the kufr that they did? يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. They taught people magic, sihr. Why? وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا. The shayateen, they did kufr. Now, what is kufr? Kufr has many meanings, but I'm giving one perspective from the perspective of this ayah, and in one perspective. That is, kufr is to do the opposite of what Allah commands. That's kufr. Allah said, don't eat from that tree, don't go near that tree. Shaitan caused Adam to go to that tree. Okay, this is kufr. Kufr is to deny to deny the truth. Okay, and kufr is to do the opposite of what the Sharia says, what opposite of what Islam says. So now here's this man Trump. Okay, so let's go back. So the Pentagon says they might have enough money. The House passes a resolution to stop Trump. So here's the coin. Trump, if you look at this, Balfour is when they got the state of Israel. It wasn't a state at that. It was in the Balfour Declaration. It doesn't say state. It says homeland, meaning a homeland for the Jewish people. Trump Declaration from 1917 to 2017. Meaning almost for them, around 100 years it took to make these coins. What are these coins for? These coins are to be used in the third temple as the shackles of the third temple. So when you go into the third temple, you have a special coins you have to use there for their sadaqah, and it will have its own value and everything. They will be using these coins in which the Cyrus the Great, Qarnain, and Trump have been put together. Now let me share with you something important. Magic, like I said, is to do the opposite of what Sharia says or what Islam says. I'll share with you one case about such a situation. Once, a long time ago, we were working on a case of magic. There was a sister, she had magic, and when you read Quran and you do ruqya and the shaitan starts to talk, the jinni in her said, even though the Prophet said the jinns they lie, but you could take this as salt, a grain of salt, but the point is the overall point, because no human being could think of this. It's just like crazy. So the jinni said that she would take this person to the bathroom, and in the bathroom this person, this jinni, would send salawat, salams, or blessings or prayers to who? To the shayateen that were leading the prophets of Allah astray. Salawat to them. Now this may be true or not, but the point is that the shaitan causes people to do things opposite to Sharia. Like, for example, disrespecting the Quran, taking the Quran into the bathroom. All these things make shaitan happy. And then you get, extra credits, you get bonus points, you get all that, So Trump is here the opposite of Zulqarnain. Here's a just king, here's an unjust king. Here's a humble man, he's an arrogant man. And the wall that Trump is trying to build is about the same size as the wall that Zulqarnain made. Okay? So Trump wants to be Zulqarnain. Trump wants to be Cyrus the Great. Okay? And like I said again, if you're not clear about Zulqarnain being Cyrus the Great, please watch my videos. I'll put them up in the description, inshallah, for it to be very clear. Trump Cyrus temple coin. So Trump is going to try to do and they're going to try to manufacture. Very important point I'm about to give. That's mentioned in Surah Al-Kahf. Annahum yuhsibuna annahum yuhsinuna sun'a. They think that they're making the best manufacturing. They are trying to remanufacture history. They're trying to remanufacture quote unquote biblical history of the past to say and to deceive the people that, see, this is the way to go, because this is what the Bible says, and this is what happened in the Bible in the past. And this whole idea of prophecy, Zionism has its power because of this idea of prophecy. I mean, maybe this didn't really click to people before, but it might after I have said this sentence now, because the whole idea of Zionism is going back into the history of the Bible and recreating history, manufactured conflicts, manufactured wars, manufactured politics, manufactured walls, manufactured fake everything in order to recreate and deceive the people for things to go in a certain direction. So now here's something interesting. Okay. Zechariah prophecy, Trump, Cyrus, blood moons, and the third temple. Why third temple? Because third temple means magic. This is the place where Suleiman sat, and he put all the books of magic under his throne. If you read the classical tafsir, it's very clear about this. Ibn Kathir is very clear about this. Many of the other mufassirin are very clear about this. And so here's Zechariah's prophecy. Trump, Cyrus, blood moons, and the third temple, right? And they made coins already with Trump's picture and Zulkarnain's in the third temple. That means it's not just to, first of all, it's to make Trump, because he's an egotistic maniac. He likes to be a historical figure with a great legacy. Like in the UN, he declared, "I'm the best president the U.S. has ever had." Basically, my administration has done more than any administration before. So I mean, all these, egotistical, maniacal way of thinking. Anyway, so over here, I want to share with you. So, so what is happening is Trump is being used. Or he's part of these real secret societies, not like Freemasons. Freemasons not secret. There's no secret about that. Trump and the third temple, right? And so the third temple means magic. And what is Dajjal? Dajjal is the height of magic and technology coming together. Okay, and so and how will that happen? That will happen by recreating another Qarnain, the two eras, right? Qarn means generation. So there was the first generation and the second generation. The second time around now is to deceive the people that this person's like the one before. And the Sanhedrins, who are a group of the highest order of Jewish rabbis, they are like the Mufti al-Azam of the rabbis, called Sanhedrin to Bush. Now, I'm giving the example of Bush before I do of Trump. Declare that Israel belongs to the Jews. And let's see if I can bring this out here, or actually here. And so the American president is requested to seize the opportunity of his visit to Israel to make a proclamation similar to proclamations that made by the Persian king Cyrus the Great. Okay, and so Bush was being told, look, you could be the next Cyrus the Great, but it didn't really work on him, but it is working on Trump. Okay, so Sanhedrin calls on the President Trump. Okay, here, this is a very interesting point here. This is a fatwa given by the Sanhedrins. Okay, the disengagement plan involving the uprooting of Jewish communities in Gaza and Samurai and the abandonment of these areas to a foreign entity is in direct contradiction to the Torah of Israel and is null and void. Future governments of Israel will have to reconquer the areas in question, meaning to rebuilding the greater Israel. And in that, you have to even reconquer Gaza Strip and the West Bank. They've already declared, their highest level of fatwa has already declared this, that they're going to do this. I wish more Palestinians knew about this. The other thing the Sanhedrins have done is they have chosen, Sanhedrin appoints high priest in preparation for the third temple. And like I said, third temple means magic, because it is the temple of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, where they would have the power and what Sulaiman had as a prophet, they want in magic. That's the deception, right? And they want to do that. To do that, then they have to remanufacture history. They have to create another Cyrus the Great. Then Shaitan will say, okay, to get bonus points with me, for you to be this, you have to do this. And Shaitan promises nothing but ghurur, except for deception, but makes these people do its work. Okay, this is the ayah, but then I wanted to share with you, now is this. Is Trump our Cyrus? Recreating past history, talking about prophecies, recreating past history to justify which direction history should go in today. This is what's happening. They're recreating history, recreating and manufacturing fake history, fake wars, fake news, everything to move history in a certain direction. And then ultimately, when they take over the third temple, then, that's where the Dajjal can come. And this is what Christians believe. When the temple will be built, Jesus will come back. And so there is, a book, very interesting book, called Forcing God's Hands. Forcing God's Hands, because they're trying to recreate history, forcing it to fit the prophecies that are in the Bible. And so this is what they're doing. Is Trump our Cyrus? So they're trying to compare Trump, the arrogant, with Cyrus, the muwahid, the abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Old Testament case for yes and no. So this is where they're trying to move things and nudge things along. So I want to end here, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Please do subscribe, to share, And so now you understand this, the wall. Trump is like Cyrus because Cyrus allowed Muslims of that time, Bani Israel, the Jews, to go back to Jerusalem. Trump allows the Jews to go back to Jerusalem, and then now he has those coins that will have his, you know, his coins to be used in the temple, and now he has to do other things to look like Cyrus the Great. So they can say, see, Cyrus did this and Trump did this to make them, and this is what Shaitan does, right? To fool the people. Anyway, there's a lot more on this, but also that history is being manufactured. History is being manufactured to move in a certain, with fake things are being done, fake conflicts are being created to move history in a certain direction. And then, of course, I talked about the Sanhedrin. They've already declared the highest fatwa place, and they have a huge influence on Bush, on Trump, as you can see from what I've shown. Jazakumullah khairan, inshallah. Please do subscribe and share. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Make sure to subscribe today, and make sure you like, and make sure you leave your comments and ideas. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا